Hey, so this situation is kind of serious, to be honest. But on the other hand, it's actually kind of dumb. Because what basically happened was some drama with Shay, and he ended up getting quote-unquote canceled, as he calls it. If you don't already know who Shay is a person with like 16,000 subscribers, most likely more by now. However, he mainly got popular from his series with Flamingo, and he did YouTuber reviews, and he made a YouTube review on Flamingo. That video got a ton of attention, and that's basically how he got all of his relevancy. Anyways, now let's bring it to the current moment. So basically, this is after all this stuff happened. However, when this stuff was going on, how it first started was Shay opening up his private Twitter account. Now, usually stuff that gets leaked comes from these private Twitter accounts by, putting snakes in, or people who just don't care, and people will screenshot your tweets from this. I personally don't even have a private Twitter account because I'm not sure how you would want a private Twitter account. It just seems kind of dumb to me. Anyways, Shay really trusted this, private setting on his Twitter account. And I would love to see who liked these posts. Well, it all started with @Earl is back, which is basically what his private account's name is. And then he said it was back with a lot of restrictions and he only allowing people that he trusts. And of course, this didn't end up working. He still got his stuff leaked. Anyways, what did he get leaked? What was so bad? So basically, he said stuff about children, and he said children are free toys. That's kind of bad, to be honest. And then he says, I think I'll be a predator for Halloween this year. At least I want to spend $20 on a costume. Now, these tweets are already a bit sus, because I could tell that they're jokes, but why? They're not even that funny, to be honest. They're just kind of dumb, to me at least. I can't really see the humor in these, to be honest. However, I do acknowledge that they are jokes. And I'm not sure who invited Little Stray to their Twitter account and then posted these, because they must be absolutely dumb, to be honest. Why would you ever invite her if you're gonna post these things? That's kind of dumb. Little Stray, I'm not sure if somebody leaked it to her or she was invited personally. Of course, then again, I would not do that at all. Even though I don't really have anything to hide. If you did have something to hide, like Shay did apparently, I would not invite Little Stray. Just a heads up. Little Stray says a little nice private at first Shay. And basically just sending direct hate. And this tweet got 350 likes, so that's kind of huge, to be honest, at least for me. And of course, it's got a lot of attention, 79 comments. And of course, this is definitely satire, I feel as if, but people think it's not a joke because of how far it goes and how not funny it is. But some people would think this was funny. Surprisingly, I know, right? But some people do think this is funny. I think it is a satire joke. If you don't know what satire is, it's basically just a joke that goes really far, but it's still considered a joke. Little Stray, however, said, I don't even think this qualifies as satire. It's at best a really bad joke that can get him in a ton of trouble. Of course, this definitely get him inside of a ton of trouble, especially when you find out later what he does for a job. And of course, Little Stray said the word satire is not interchangeable with joke. It would be satire joke, not satire or joke. And of course, with this happening, Shay was quick to apologize because she always does. And in his first apology, it's quite a normal apology. But it did get a lot of attention and a lot of negative attention. So he basically just says, here's what I've learned, I'm sorry for the jokes. And he actually works at a daycare. And he has a young audience and he's saying this stuff. If you work at a daycare, I wouldn't say anything close to this. Because if you do, you could get fired, etc. And even charged with some few crime and get put on a list. And that would be horrible. I would never say these types of things if I worked anywhere near children. And she also says, I know you won't accept this apology, but just hear me out for once. He thought he could share whatever he wanted to the people closest to him on this private Twitter. And he thanks everyone who has gotten involved in this drama, which you are hereby welcome for making this video. He says, I'm no longer going to do anything like this again. And him and Miss Keeping sure did have a little bit of, should I say, drama or an argument, quite a big thread. I'm going to have to, summarize these because they are extremely long. And basically, Miss Keeping just says the fact that he made these jokes in the first place doesn't settle well at all, and it makes it 100 times worse because he works at a daycare, and that he needs to have a filter, and you've never taken any advice that he was given by Miss Keeping's and Miss Keeping's friends. Shay just basically says you have a point, and the truth is from this that I've realized how immature and unbelievable my actions were. The least I can do in this situation is apologize for what I've done and make a commitment to moving forward and to promise people that I will do so. Miss Keeping's actually made an entire thread about this situation. And they say, then learn from it. taking advice given to you, saying that you're never going to do it again. This means nothing anymore because you've always done stuff again. Learn from your mistakes, delete the private account, and log off if you're emotionally unstable. And she says, you just need to stop. And of course, they were beyond angry at Shay, and this was actually kind of personal to them because Shay called them a snake and Kiddo-kun a snake not so long ago, to be honest. And he actually blocked Shay, and Shay actually blocked Miss Keepings and Kiddo-kun for basically nothing, and that's why they didn't give him a second chance at behaving himself, etc., and after he's done all this bad stuff. And people were definitely calling Shay a predator for these types of statements and jokes, which a lot of people didn't even see as jokes, so they just thought he was a bad person. And of course, since this did get called up a little stray, a lot of other YouTubers, and more specifically Kiddo-kun and Nathrix, had an opinion on this and made tweets about it themselves. Kiddo-kun says, on the original Little Stray call out, what the what? And then they go on to say, on another tweet, so it's been a few hours and I observed the entire Shay situation. Personally, I believe that you have every right to be uncomfortable at him when he tweets something like that. He did, and it was not phrased with any sarcasm or any joking tone. People will naturally take it seriously. I don't actually naturally take it serious. I naturally take it as a joke because I don't think anybody has the audacity to say that not as a joke. Of course, Kiddo-kun does not think he's a predator, but tweeting stuff like that when he works at a daycare is not the best thing, of course. And it's just the episode of Think Before You Tweet, which I agree with. Make sure you guys think before you tweet, especially when you work at a daycare. You probably should not be tweeting and pulling a Shay. And really, the only big person I saw defending Shay was Nathrix, as one of the people who uses quite vulgar jokes. And Nathrix says, I find it kind of funny that the people criticizing Shay are tweeting things like, I just blinked a kid and people aren't laughing. They themselves just made a joke about predators. They are actually going further than what he did. And of course, he says innocent if proven otherwise, which I agree with. And of course, you should not call him a predator or whatever, because he's not, obviously. And that's kind of retarded to call him that. And yeah, now he made another tweet as of now, the next day. And he says, no matter how much I apologize, no matter how much I try to show people I will improve, some people just don't appreciate that information. You'd be surprised at how much fake information has been passed around because of the following drama. It's funny. And all this information here is real. And he says, in the end, this has proved to me exactly what it takes for such a small number of people to gain such power in a short amount of time over what I said. There's never direct evidence claiming I was actually a predator, yet you still believed it. Of course, not that many people believed it. I don't think so. And then he also says, I've said in all my previous tweets that what I've said is wrong, and I agree with that. I made a promise to change, and the people who believe that are the ones I appreciate. But in the end, no matter what I do, it seems things come right down to this. I'm not a wuss, so I'm not Baki off. You realize how much attention those tweets got in comparison to more important things I created? He basically just says this proved cancel culture, and this is like really bad, and this is all of our word, and despite what you have done, you're the only one who have helped me. You helped me realize how terrible my actions were. Thank you all. Thank you. And just my final take on this, he is not a predator, obviously, and it was just a joke. A huge joke, and probably one that he should not have made, considering how he works at a daycare. However, all this information here, as far as I know, is completely correct. So, make sure you guys, do you think these jokes were horrid, and he should have never made them? Except, he could have anyways. Just don't work at a daycare. That's just a horrible idea. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn notifications, follow me on Twitter. Make sure you guys join my Discord down below. And goodbye.
Oh, I'm more life for my dick shit, and I'm getting tired of all the same shit. I wanna see my family, wanna see my friends. I've been slept on like my name says, and I'm pretty far from being famous, but I sure as hell ain't nameless. I just take aim, I ain't aimless, and I let it fly up like a spaceship and just see where that goes.